Sinead Cotter. I'm a supervisor in the catering department.
My name is Padraig Dennehy and I'm a chef in the catering department.
My name is Kathleen O'Sullivan and I'm a catering assistant in the catering department.
What do I like about my job?
Working with me.
Working with Patrick, that's definitely a highlight. And Kathleen is an added bonus.
Not only do we provide food for over 300 patients per meal, but we also provide food for the staff. I suppose we have
We've in excess of 1,000 staff.
in excess of 1,000 staff, and we also send food out to two other units, to the community nursing unit and to Killarden House, and a lot of people mightn't be aware of that. So our capacity is huge. When I started over nearly 20 we might have maybe 10 or 15 diets. Now we could be doing up to 80 diets per day. We have the very young, the very old and the very vulnerable to cater for, so that makes our job that little bit more challenging.
You have people coming and going that you would develop a relationship with, and we all know that we're not supposed to get emotionally attached, but and then you're dealing with very lovely people and very unwell people who have very caring relatives. And that all, you get so involved in the whole care of the patient. And you really go the extra mile for everybody to try and make everybody's stay in hospital as positive an experience. And there's a lot don't go home.
That's right.
And as I say, we mourn the losses.
And for us as the team of chefs, we're invisible, we're behind the scenes. The staff would see us in the carvery, in the dining room, but the patients don't. But we even get to know the patients by their name and by their requests, and we know their likes, we know their dislikes.
And you know if they've been transferred from one ward to another,
ward, yeah.
because they follow their names.
Even though we may not have a face, we would know the patients, And recently I do a seasonal gig. I don't know if kids will be looking at this or not, but I do a seasonal gig which requires a lot of additional padding, and I done a tour of one of the wards, and I got to see some of the faces of some of the patients there recently, whose names I would have been familiar with from the dietary requirements and from the request that Sinead would be pestering me with, and it was lovely to put a face.
Do you notice how he used the word pester?
Pester, yeah. If ever there's something wanted, Padraig, I'm the first name she calls. I was thinking that I might change my name for the new year.
I had gone back there now a few years ago. I had a woman she was a young mother, and sadly she passed away, you know. But her children used to be in, you know, visiting her, and she was in for a good while, and she passed away sadly, as I say. And you know, from being in every day, you get to know them. You don't want to know their personal, but they just tell you their story. They just, you know, they just start telling you their story, and you're not going to run out of the room. You know, it's amazing, like you do. It does take effect. Yeah. That's maybe what they want at that particular moment. You know, and there may be no family member with them.
And I think it gives us a greater sense of gratitude for what we have.
Appreciate it, definitely.
To make us appreciate what we have. And God knows we can kill each other.
Yeah.
Oh, we can.
And we look like happy families here now, like
murder! Murder, yeah, they picked the right tree to represent the catering department. But I suppose for the chefs, we don't get to meet the patients on a regular basis. But what I would be very aware of is the staff. The staff coming down to the dining room to say hello and greet whenever we can, because they're on the front line and they're facing very difficult circumstances and situations on a day-to-day basis. And when they come down for their break, that's their little reprieve from it, to sit down and relax and just to say hello and say how are you, how's your day going, how are you keeping. I think that's very important too. The hospital has the Strictly Come Dancing, all those things down through the years, and it generates a great amount of energy and atmosphere, and it charges up the morale and the batteries for a while, And the Sports and Social Club do huge work, and they're very active, and they contribute hugely to the social part of the hospital. It's very important for anyone to have a hobby or an interest, or to have some involvement outside of work, and like you said, to switch off. I do a little bit of acting. I love acting and theatre and all things theatrical and drama, and I bring a bit of that into work as well. Michael D. Higgins often makes an appearance in the catering department for a birthday or an occasion. So Michael D. Frank Spencer could often appear.
And we have a whole casting of Frank Spencer.
We have a whole cast below in the catering department,
We have a great community, and the hospital itself is a great community. And I think we sometimes forget that. We get so wrapped up in our own department and our own ward and our own job. Sometimes we forget that there is the wider community of the hospital, and I think the three of us can agree that it's particularly in times of personal crisis, when you're in a corner yourself, personally, when you have a heartache or a problem, the community of the hospital will stand up with you. God, there isn't a day it isn't tough. There isn't a day. And there's so many different personalities, and it's all about doing your best to get on with each other. And there isn't a day that I don't want to throw Padraig into a soup pot. I don't feel like putting Kathleen into the dishwasher, her and her broth. But
I don't want to blast you.
But it's all about putting, I suppose, putting all that to rest for the betterment of.
Yes.
Do you know?
You've got to move on and get on with your job.
Yeah. Like Sinead has a lovely saying, we're here for the man or the woman in the bed, the patient. And I suppose no matter how bad or no matter what's going on behind the walls in the catering department, we often say that. Think of yourselves, put yourselves into the bed.
That's it.
We'd be giving out about small things and saying, oh my God, look at it, I don't want to do this. And you'd say to me,
and I'm going to change my name.
Yeah. That's it. But the most important person is the man or the woman in the bed. Yeah, the patient.
You
That's what we're all
remember
here
that
for.
you will be the person in the bed someday, and you'd like to be treated as, the same.
And hope that we'd get the same
Exactly.
attention and service and
Exactly.
care. Yeah.
Yes.
Some relatives can be quite difficult, particularly when people are recovering from strokes, and you're talking about compromised swallow and stuff is mashed, food is mashed, meat is blitzed, and it's not the most visually appealing of food
Appetizing looking.
and it can, it can be very difficult. Kathleen is trying to sell this at ward level, and 9 times out of 10 the patient isn't well enough to care. But obviously, as it upsets the relatives, to think that their loved ones, have been reduced to this. And again, like I said previously, 9 times out of 10, this is a gradual. We celebrate. We have different. It's called a dysphagia system. The IS. What is it? How many letters? Anyway, it's different levels of grading, and we see people graduating from a level 3 to a level 4, and from a level 4 to a level 5, and it creeps up. And we celebrate all these. And we're looking at ward lists, and I'm saying, Kathleen, that man was on a level 4 for a month, and she said, he's gone to a level 7, easy to chew now.
We love
it's all
to
about
hear
progress.
The catering sisters come down and say such a patient has been upgraded.
And the dietitians come in, or the speech and language team come in, and they say, well now, Mary was on a level 3, which is like soup. And we're moving on, Mary, now to something a little more solid. And we celebrate all these things. But it's difficult. Some days it's very difficult.
I'd like to think, from my own personal point of view, that I do the best I can every day, and
all the staff in the hospital work incredibly
they
hard
do,
in the difficult
fairness.
circumstances.
We are on the ground, feet on the ground, doing our best every day. We are the front soldiers, particularly Kathleen and the catering attendants that go to ward level. They are our front line.